Greetings, my friends. It's your friendly neighborhood PhD, Dr. Judd Burton, coming to you with another Beyond report on this Memorial Day 2021. As always, if you like the content, please click a like, subscribe, and share. I do appreciate all the support for the channel. And now that we've climbed over 1,000, let's see if we can just keep piling those thousands on. Well, of course, today the big topic is Memorial Day. Where we remember our fallen soldiers that didn't make it back home. Uh, for those people that gave their all in defense of liberty, in defense of our way of life, we honor and salute you today and remember you and thank you for your sacrifice. Well, I should also mention that this week I'll be appearing on Doug Hamp's show, where I believe I'll be taking part in a prophecy roundtable. That'll be recorded this week and probably up a few days after. Uh, but of course, the I told everybody on Facebook that there would be some moving and shaking going on with Burton Beyond today, and of course that has to do with the Memorial Day sale that's going on today. And I'll briefly outline that and then talk a little bit more about the certifications and the coursework that's available. Amongst other things, there have been a number of podcasts that I've spoken on recently. Most recently, uh, podcasts and radio shows, but most recently Rob Skiba's Revolutionary Radio, where we once again talked about witchcraft, which is a topic I've been dealing with for a number of years in terms of historical and anthropological study, and have been speaking about recently and writing some about as well. But I say all that to say that I do offer coursework on that subject from those two vantage points and the biblical perspective as well. But big sales in preparation for the next session. Each of the certifications, biblical anthropology, biblical demonology, and preternatural morphology, each of those is $115 each for the next 2 days. So if you've been wanting to study with the Institute, study with me, now is a great time to do that. Maybe you've got some time opening up in the summer to devote to your studies. You'd be more than welcome to throw in with the Institute of Biblical Anthropology. Always happy to welcome new students. And the next sale is the new Rudiments of New Testament Greek course is on sale for $200, which is actually $100 off what I normally offer it for. So likewise, now would be a great time to do that if you've been wanting to up your game on Koine Greek or just ancient Greek in general. Um, for homeschoolers, classical schoolers, academies, this is a good thing to expose students to Greek. It's a good way to do it. And the number three kicker is for $250, you can pick one certification. You can get the Rudiments of New Testament Greek course and an e-library of books, ebooks, to help you in your studies. All this course is for $250, so there's some pretty massive savings over the next couple of days. So, as I say, now would be a good time to strike while the iron is hot. Uh, now, I know that many of you are at least somewhat familiar with at least two of the certification programs. We have two of the apprenticeships, the Biblical Anthropology and Biblical Demonology. The lesser known one is the Preternatural Morphology. Um, but I'll explain each one of those briefly to give you some idea of what you would be studying. The Biblical Anthropology certification is a deep dive into the history and culture of the biblical world, where you have classes like Old Testament and New Testament survey, uh, uh, biblical anthropology and biblical archaeology, which deal with the cultural and the material cultural aspects of that world. Biblical geography is a study in not only the boundaries of kingdoms and ancient countries of the biblical world, but also how the people interface with that. It's about landscape and topography and natural resources and the interaction all those things take part in to form the history of the biblical world. Biblical ethnology is a study in the societies and cultures that existed in the ancient world and in the biblical world in particular. Um, you also get an introduction to biblical languages, just the briefest of discussions about Hebrew, Greek, Aramaic, and Latin. Um, there's a church history class. I have Apocrypha, Giantology. There's actually a witchcraft in the Bible class, and the uh, the life history of Jesus, 12 apostles, or a number of electives that you can tack on to those as well. So that's a basic picture of biblical anthropology. Now the biblical demonology course also includes an Old Testament and New Testament survey, but it's geared towards understanding the demonic from the biblical perspective, and so you'll have some additional essay readings. Um, but it it also too has an anthropological track. It's studying the culture of the demonic realm, from the fallen angels on down to the least of the unclean spirits. Um, there are classes like ethnodemonology that study how those things fit within culture. Um, there are uh, certification specific classes that are tailored towards that certification, like the study of witchcraft, um, demonic manifestations, the history of demonology. Merrill Unger's fantastic biblical demonology is a text for one of the classes. So there are even some uh, ministerial classes. In other words, if people are interested in getting involved in deliverance ministry, I have some minimal comment on that in some of the classes. But all in all, it is a deep dive into biblical demonology, as the name would suggest. Preternatural morphology is kind of a fancy word for Monsters 101. It's a look at folkloric manifestations of demons. And so you're going to look at the demonic roots of vampires, um, werewolves, ghouls, revenants, reanimates, all kinds of chimera, um, uh, uh, the just a whole bestiary of these kinds of creatures. Uh, and you'll be studying from texts like Montague Summers' The Vampires, Kith and Kin, Sabina Baring Gold's The Book of the Werewolves, lots of standard text in those fields, and again, all looking at these things through the biblical perspective. So this coursework may be of interest to you if you've had some experience in deliverance ministry or something like that, and you want to expand your knowledge into that realm. Now, in terms of the format of the class, when you register, um, each class lasts 4 weeks, and you have readings for each week, and then each week you turn in a 1 to 2 page summative summary kind of essay to me to give me an idea of how you're tracking along with the readings. And of course, you can interact with me via email, and there's an optional video chat. We can use, Skype or Facebook or um, Zoom. Facebook seems to work for a lot of people. So, yeah, there's the optional 20 to 30 minute chat with me where we can actually interact one on one. And students really seem to like that. Um, so, they're designed to be done in relative quick time if you take two courses at a time. You can finish in 6 months, as long as 12 months if you're taking, one at a time. So it is, there's a degree of self-pacing, but you do have, yeah, I do encourage people to stay on track and check in with me and do their regular assignments. Otherwise, you really get bogged down and behind. So, well, again, like I say, this is a great time to take advantage of these sales coming up on the new session. Um, and got some new books that I'm going to release as ebooks this week, so keep an eye out for that. And again, guys, just thank you for the support of the channel, and I'll be bringing you more content. In fact, almost finished with a long overdue episode of Antiquity X. Looking forward to hopefully debuting that later this evening. But until then, everybody stay safe. Happy Memorial Day, and Godspeed.